So one of the few things about Surface Duo and Duo 2 to some extent that I hear complained about as much as really any other is the fact that sometimes the rotation, the auto rotation, is a little bit wonky. I hear people talking about holding their phone, maybe they're laying in bed, maybe they're laying back like that or whatever, they're walking around, and the thing keeps rotating around and doing some strange things in regard to that auto rotation. For myself, I tend to just keep auto rotation turned off and then just find ways around it. If I have to turn it back on, I swipe down, turn it back on, swipe back up, do what I need to do. Then I got to go back through and turn it back off when I'm done because it just doesn't behave all that well sometimes. In this video, we're going to talk about something that might be a decent enough fix for you, and this is via a Reddit post by Adam James Reese, I think is, if I'm reading that correctly. They posted this about a week ago. There's an app called Button Mapper, and you can basically kind of get around this. There are some downsides and some caveats that I will, of course, get to. But first, I'm going to talk about how to actually install and use this application. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your Google Play Store and you're going to search for Button Mapper, and then you're going to see Button Mapper there by Flar2 at the very top. Go ahead and install that application. Simple enough. And now we're going to talk about how to actually set it up. Let's open it up, swipe through, swipe through, swipe through, blah, 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 blah. Open up settings. We're going to click on Button Mapper and click on Use Button Mapper and then Allow. And now we're going to pick what button we want to use. I did go with this person's suggestion and go with the volume buttons. We're going to click on volume buttons. We're going to use volume down because it's just easier. We're going to go to double tap. Now you're going to go under system and you're going to scroll down and you're going to have a couple of different options. You can either do toggle auto rotate or toggle portrait/landscape. So let's see what happens when you do this one. So when you click on it, you're going to have to now allow it to modify system settings. Go back, it's gonna get confused. Go back until you're back in this actual screen again. So now we have this volume down, double tap to toggle portrait/landscape. And here's what that's gonna look like in real time. When I double click my volume down button, it's gonna vibrate and the device is going to rotate into this orientation. And it's locked in this orientation, right? Then I click it again, double tap down, boom, there we go. We're gonna rotate back around to our normal orientation. I think it's actually normally faster than this when I'm casting my screen. I think that's slowing it down because strangely enough, I'm actually seeing the casted screen do it before this. So it's usually pretty quick. And honestly, there's probably some decent utility here because you're locked in book mode, but if you need to go into laptop mode, you're not relying on that little bit wonky accelerometer. You can just do it yourself and now you're locked in this orientation until you want to go back. And, you know, the camera, the way the camera is set up here, that actually is the correct orientation. There's one problem, though, with Surface Duo 2, and that would be involving full screen video. So let's go to a video here. Let's actually turn down my volume so I'm not playing anything, and I'll show you what the problem is. So I'm playing a video. By default, the right screen is your phone mode screen. So if I go into tint mode, and then I want to use this to rotate it, well, it's going to rotate it to be upside down. It's the wrong way around. Editor Shane here because I realized I failed to mention something that was actually brought up in the comments on that Reddit thread. I was just talking about how when you use this to make it rotate fully, it's upside down in tint mode, and that is absolutely true. But if you don't use tint mode and instead you use laptop mode, this is no longer a problem, so bear that in mind as I continue speaking from here. So I would have to just swipe up on it and then go full screen that way. So in that regard, it's not actually of any benefit to me. Now you could disable that setting, right? If you go into your settings and you go into Surface Duo features and then you're looking for screen when folded, you can change it to screen facing me if that will focus. And what that's going to do at that point is it would allow you to throw this to the other screen, and then you could fold it around into tint mode like this. And of course it failed, so we're going to double tap. And then if you use that gesture on your volume keys, well, it's going to be rotated the correct direction. So at that point, you would be utilizing the phone's accelerometers to try and get the screen correct, which you can see it did well there. I don't like that option simply because to me it's not as reliable as having it always just default to the right screen. So I don't want to necessarily give up that reliability to have that feature. But on Duo 1, this might work well for you. This is just kind of a demonstration of the problem I think is present in regard to this application. Now, the other thing that, of course, you can do is you can change that double tap to be, rather than toggle it to straight up rotate, you can actually just have it turn auto rotation on or off. And that's going to work in a similar manner, but slightly different, right? So my auto rotation is turned off. And let's say I'm going to do the same thing. Here we go. I'm going to put this in tint mode. Well, it's wrong that if I double click my volume down button, auto rotation is going to turn on and I should be able to rotate it and it's going to pick that up. I can do what I want to do. And then whenever I'm done watching this content, I can just quickly turn it back off with that double click of the volume down button. So there's a few different options that you could go with there to basically better control the auto rotation on your device. Again, I want to say big shout out here to Adam because they're the ones that pointed this out. I don't think it's quite perfect. I've tried to find ways to make it better. Other apps that I could potentially use, or if there's just simply a way to make it not switch to landscape, but switch to reversed landscape, that might be better. But then maybe using it, with the camera would be the wrong way then, because then your camera's up top and it's flipped around. So there's really not a great answer with this device in terms of the way that it is shaped. But again, this might be a useful app to you, whether you're using it with that setting turned off and rotating, or you're just using it to toggle auto rotation more quickly so that you're not having to, go into your quick settings every time you want to turn it off or on. Either way, I hope this video is useful to you. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.